As an executive manager for global initiatives at Alwaleed Philanthropies, what does your role specifically entail day to day?
Alwaleed Philanthropies is 45 years old today. It's founded by His Royal Highness Prince Alwaleed bin Talal Al Saud and led by Princess Lamia, Her Royal Highness Princess Lamia bint Majid Al Saud. We reached more than $5.5 billion of support around the world and locally. Throughout the 45 years, we reached an impact of more than 1.5 billion beneficiaries around the world to bridge the gap and narrow the gap between different cultures. And this requires the skill of being flexible and tolerant and open heart, with an open heart and an open mind.
It's beautifully put. And even throughout this interview, I'm looking into your eyes and I can sense the passion. Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. If you're passionate, I think you will love everything that you're doing. When we know the real struggles and the real obstacles from the people firsthand, it really shapes the way we think for the next phase or for the next project.
I like that you said 10 Saudi women all working together. It's just beautiful. It's inspiring.
It's just always been
10
that.
powerful Saudi women. Welcome back to Discussions, and a very special thank you to Al Mashtal for helping make yet another episode of Discussions possible. Today's episode is very special. I know I say that about all my episodes of Discussions, but this one is near and dear to my heart because we're sitting down with Reem Mallawi she's an executive manager of global initiatives from Alwaleed Philanthropies. So if you've ever been interested in going into philanthropy, if you've ever been interested in how Alwaleed Philanthropies operates and the work that they're doing on a global basis, this episode is for you. Reem, thank you for joining me on Discussions.
Hi, Lema. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me to this amazing podcast. It's really beautiful in the way you created it and the core value of it. So I'm honored to be part of this and be part of the episodes that you're doing. Thank you.
I mean, thank you. The work that you're doing with Alwaleed Philanthropies. When I said this is a special episode, I genuinely mean it, because the work that you're doing, the philanthropic work that's impacting people globally, is so near and dear to my heart. And just bringing more awareness to it is genuinely such an honor. I want to dive into the first question. For our viewers that don't know, who is Reem Mallawi? And can you tell us about your early career journey and how you got to be the global executive manager for global initiatives at Alwaleed Philanthropies?
Okay, I'm Reem Mallawi. I specialized as a speech therapist, actually, at my early career. And that has its own story for why I decided to go into that career, which is related to my passion for helping others, and especially when my youngest sister was born. She was born with Down syndrome, and I entered that world of improving skills and rehabilitation, and how do we think of inclusion? How do we think of she is really our teacher, I would say. So that was the whole reason why I discovered that world and decided to pursue a career in speech therapy. I felt I wanted to be part of a bigger story, part of something that has a big scale impact, greater impact, worldwide impact. And that's how the career shift happened. And Alwaleed Philanthropies was the perfect alignment for me when I was looking for how can I shift my career while keeping the core value of the passion of helping others when I do something. So this is the driving, let's say, force behind what kind of career that I'm pursuing. So being in Alwaleed Philanthropies aligned naturally and may help me progress that career shift, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. So what is it specifically? You touched upon it very briefly, but what is it specifically about the field of philanthropy and social impact that aligns so strongly with Alwaleed Philanthropies now?
So if I can give an overview of Alwaleed Philanthropy, so we can actually start digging in with the type of work and impact that we're doing. Alwaleed Philanthropies is 45 years old today. It's founded by His Royal Highness Prince Alwaleed bin Talal Al Saud and led by Princess Lamia, Her Royal Highness Princess Lamia bint Majid Al Saud. She's the General Secretary for the foundation. We are 10 Saudi ladies. We're all passionate, and we do encourage independent and visionary ladies and team members. And if inshallah you come and visit us one day in the office, and you'll see that reflected even in our work daily. We do work in 190 countries, alhamdulillah. We reached more than $5.5 billion of support around the world and locally. And we're proud to say that throughout the 45 years, we reached an impact of more than 1.5 billion beneficiaries around the world with all the different type of projects that we're doing. Alwaleed Philanthropies has 5 focus areas, meaning that we have projects under the different 5 focus areas, and we can touch on that as we discuss today.
So I want to ask you more specifically in your role, because we want this to be as educational as possible from
Sure.
2 sides, highlighting the amazing work that Alwaleed Philanthropies is leading, but also highlighting the great work you as an executive manager is doing on the ground. So as an executive manager for global initiatives at Alwaleed Philanthropies, what does your role specifically entail day to day?
So as the title says, global initiatives. So I'm mainly project managing all the projects that we support and implement outside Saudi Arabia. And we've been doing that for 45 years, as I mentioned. We always seek long-term and short-term collaborations with international partners, but keeping in mind that if we are implementing a project in a certain country, who are the implementing partner on ground, so we can also empower the locals while we're doing that. We do always seek partnerships with different organizations and nonprofit organizations. Also, we keep in mind how can we support the community while we're doing that and empowering them, and also the governmental and change makers who are in the country as well, to ensure sustainability of the project when we leave. We also have a yearly meeting with the board where we understand the vision of the higher management and the leadership, and we see what type of priorities that we want for the year. And then we go ahead and check the type of projects that we're going to do, which sector that we want to focus on, which country we want to focus on moving forward. And it's just an enjoying, it's a passion. It has to be a passionate job, right? You have to have passion to do that. And we're always, as team members, trying to co-create and think of redefining or modernizing the way we do philanthropy versus charity. And I'm sure we can touch on that. Yeah.
No, I admire how you speak so passionately about the work that you're doing. I want to touch upon both sides. What would you say is the most rewarding, and what would you say is a bit more challenging aspects when it comes to philanthropic work?
For sure, rewarding, I would say the moment when you have the immediate interaction with the beneficiaries. So let's not forget that we are a Saudi private nonprofit based here as a location, team members, right? But the Alwaleed Philanthropies Global, which is working and implementing and supporting the project internationally, we are doing that from distance. So the moment we always identify moments where we can go on ground, meet the beneficiaries, meet our partners, see the progress of the project on ground. And that is the most rewarding moment, I would say personally for me, is to talk directly with the beneficiaries who are benefiting from this impact. I can remember a project that we did with the United Nations UN Habitat in Tunisia. And it was a beautiful project supporting the waste collectors in the sector of plastic waste, and how they are recycling, and the whole journey of them recycling the plastic. And we spent a day with them, and we saw and understood from them directly what are the obstacles that they face throughout the day. And we tried to brainstorm with them what type of support that they would need to improve their quality of life and their everyday life. And I will never forget one beneficiary who we met, and he was telling us that because of because of this support, he also had the chance to enter the municipality building and having a voice within the local authorities, let's say. And now he has a seat in the repeatedly, I think it's a quarterly meeting in the municipality, where now he has a seat there and he can directly talk about their struggles and obstacles and visions and wishes as waste collectors. And he can be the representative of them instead of someone talking on their behalf or assuming that these are the type of support that they need. So these moments that we really look for and we want to know about when we do projects, because it really shapes the way we think for the next phase or for the next project. When we know the real struggles and the real obstacles from the people firsthand, instead of just reading about it in a proposal or in a concept note, it definitely changes your mindset as a project manager and the whole team, and the way we tackle the issue and the way we select the type of support, the way we prioritize the support and where to put it and which country. And so these moments is the most rewarding, I would say, for me. Challenging, I would say, with the changes that's happening in the world, we have to adapt, of course, the geopolitics and the things that happens with, and we're talking about a global scene here. So we always make sure to be aligned with the main decision makers in that country, and align with the real needs, and try to identify the real gaps, not just assume that this is the type of support that they need. But I think it's a learning journey that every day we support each other as a team, and we really learn from each other. And each one of us has her own background from her early career, and you see that co-creation that happens in the office, and how we learn from each other, of course, with our management. It's beautiful.
But it's brilliant. I like that you said 10 Saudi women all working together. It's just beautiful. It's inspiring.
It's
just
always been
10
that.
powerful Saudi women.
Yes.
It's amazing. So for our audience members who dream of pursuing a career that you're doing now in the world of philanthropic work, the nonprofit sector as a whole, what essential skills, both hard skills and soft skills, do you believe that are crucial to succeed in this sector?
I would definitely say, before the skills, the passion. Because you're talking about humanitarian work, you're talking about impact, you're talking about supporting others, helping others, while you're developing your own skills as well along the way, and you learn a lot from those projects. Really, definitely the core hajar al asas zay ma yqulu is the passion, I'm sure. And then, of course, developing the soft skills, the communication skills, the I would say cultural communication skills as well. With the global perspective, you would want to develop your understanding and skills on different culture and tolerance and acceptance of different cultures, different identities, and how can we tailor the projects to respect the culture that we're working in, the country that we're working in. And this adaptability and flexibility as a person, I think it's required to have as a project manager working in a global scene. We have a project, Alwaleed Cultural Network, and that's really the core of bridging cultures. It's a network where we have different organizations, leading organizations in the academic and cultural scene. And you see us coming together. So on a call, some people are from the UK, some people are from the US, from the Middle East, Cairo, Lebanon, and Saudi, and look at us talking together and talking about culture and how can we do projects together that has to bridge the gap and narrow the gap between different cultures. And this requires the skill of being flexible and tolerant and open heart, with an open heart and an open mind.
When you work
Mm,
for a nonprofit such as Alwaleed Philanthropies, I imagine you're working on a global basis. You're touching countries and cities across continents around the
yes,
world, and you're
we're
affecting the lives.
lucky.
Yeah, alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah.
and you're affecting the lives of so many people. Oftentimes, people might have some misconceptions about nonprofit work or philanthropic work.
Mhm.
So, I want to ask you, what is one common misconception people might have about the philanthropic organizations like AP or like others that you wish people would understand better?
Mm. I love this question. Um, the first thing that comes to my mind would be the concept of charity versus philanthropy and strategic philanthropy. Uh, Generally, when you talk about I work in a nonprofit, maybe it's viewed that it's charity in the
Yeah.
old time sense, I would say. But even the sector of philanthropy and nonprofit did evolve and develop throughout the years. And it's becoming more, you would see nonprofit working in different areas, not just the first aid and the first response and the disaster aid, right?
Mhm.
We see us in culture, we see us in different areas. And how do we become more strategic when it comes to philanthropy? Meaning that if I'm going to work in a sector or on a project, um, is it sustainable? And we do ask these questions when we review concept notes or proposals always. Is it sustainable after I finish the support and the duration of the contract, let's say, and I leave? Will the impact be sustainable? Did I remove this problem or issue from its root? I covered the gap, or it's just a putting a band-aid, like a band-aid approach, because it will resurface again after a couple of years. And I think the nonprofits started thinking that way when they select and design projects. It's not just about doing that immediate. I call it like a snooze effect, right? You're just
Yeah.
snoozing the issue
Pausing
for
it.
that duration, and that's it. But and how do we ensure that we talk to the people? We know exactly, is this the type of support that they need at this time? Maybe it's not the priority right now for them at that duration. Do we have local authorities supporting it and blessing it? Will there be any type of policy change by the end of the project? We worked on a beautiful project also related to recycling in India, in collaboration with the H&M Foundation and IKEA Foundation. And it's all about the textile waste management. And because India is known for a high rate of textile waste. And the project doesn't just work directly with the waste collectors and the recyclers. No, it also is working on the whole value chain and how to change the whole sector from the moment an individual in their home wants to uh, donate
Mhm.
a piece of clothing from the house. What do they do? What's their general practice? Usually it's they include it with the other type of waste. So we're changing mindset from the beginning, and no, from home, from the first moment, is how to dissect and change the storage and the sorting. I mean, of the waste and the whole value
Cycle.
chain until it's recycled and it's back to market. Even hotels are involved in this project where the linen and the waste of the linen is being recycled and going back to the hotels. It's a beautiful big scale project we're proud of. And this is the type of approach, let's say, that we follow when we select projects. It's not just the, like I mentioned earlier, the traditional charity, if that's a correct word to say.
So I imagine, when you're working on a global basis, you mentioned you've worked with in India, on multiple projects in India. When you're working on a global basis, I imagine there's a lot of pressure that's being put to execute these projects to aid people around the world. How does AP support resilience and well-being among its team, specifically when you're facing challenging situations and even humanitarian crises globally?
Um, Teamwork always, really. It's about how we work together, co-create together, supporting each other. It's not, and also again, the passion. When you have the passion, like I said, it will drive us to find solutions, even if the situation is challenging. Regarding humanitarian crisis, we do have a focus area, which is disaster relief. However, our approach is different. We wait until the disaster is settled, let's say, and we assess the needs and situations. So we're not first responders. And then we assess the situation and we enter as a long-term rehab, which is again matching and aligning with the way we approach projects. I would say passion, I would say teamwork and support and working together, seeking advice and talking with the other organizations worldwide. What's their strategy and what's their approach, and how they can tackle these the time of crisis and the challenges that they face.
One of the areas that I really admire about Alwaleed Philanthropies, when I was just doing my research online, was there was a heavy focus on women and youth empowerment.
Mm.
Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you've done internationally or that you've led internationally to support women and youth globally?
It's one of our strongest focus areas, I would say, supporting women and youth. And it's all about how do we support them economically and how they become economically independent. It's about the type of projects that you do, training that ends with employment. We have a long-term partnership with Turquoise Mountain, which is one of His Majesty King Charles foundations, and it's all about supporting women in the handcraft sector. So the main reason for it is first create jobs and create an opportunity for them to generate income in countries of conflict, which is we're working in Myanmar, for example for this project, and a couple of other countries. Also, how can we preserve culture while doing that? Because you're teaching the craft from generation to generation, and you're ensuring that the culture is preserved, because it is an identity at the end of the day. And this is one of our core values when we work in a country or support a project, that we always make sure that we preserve the culture of the country and tailor projects to that community or to that environment, and keep the core values and the identity of the country. So this project is one of the beautiful projects that we have, really, how they create beautiful items and objects that's very creative, and it's all handmade. But also, not just that, how are we connecting them to the international market? Because in their countries, maybe they didn't have the facilitation to connect to worldwide markets. And this is something that we're doing in collaboration with Turquoise Mountain. Now you see a lady who's in Myanmar doing a piece of art, which is from her heritage and culture. She learned it from her grandmother, and now it's in different international countries and being exhibited in a lot of showrooms and art showrooms around the world, in London and the US. And that's generating income for them. And also, you're sharing their culture with the world.
You mentioned a few different projects that you've done, and they're all very impactful, mashallah, and very diversified, I've noticed. Yeah. Is there any, throughout your career so far with Alwaleed Philanthropies, is there any humanitarian project or philanthropic project, that stands out to you the most?
It's a difficult question. I love them all. Really, it's I don't know. It's difficult for me to answer this question, to be honest, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're passionate, I think you will love everything that you're doing. And me as a person, and my background, and my early career, and my life journey, it's always been this diversity of different cultures and art and humanitarian work. So I do see myself have something in common with every project that we work in. So I really can't specify, but definitely things that shows the development of the individual, something that shows a sustainability aspect in a project. Definitely, this is something that you'll find me choosing or prioritizing.
I love that. So beyond meticulous strategic planning that you do in order to do philanthropic projects, What key qualities or leadership approaches do you find most effective when guiding teams on the ground, especially when you have complex projects?
Um, Definitely open communication. I think that's the key. Communicate with each other, understand each other's thought processes, and try to align together and find a common ground so you can and learn from each other's expertise. Because sometimes you think that this is the way we should follow or should implement, but then you hear your team members' experience or a story from here or from another foundation, and you learn by doing and you learn by practice. So I think open communication is really very important to have as a skill to lead a team and to lead a project.
We're approaching our last question, which is a reoccurring question I like to ask all our guests. But before I ask you that, I do want to ask you something a bit personal. What drove you to decide to work with Alwaleed Philanthropies initially? Was there anything that stood out to you that said, okay, this is going to help me fulfill my lifelong mission of what I'm truly passionate about?
I think it really goes back to the first question when I said that the type of project that is being implemented in Alwaleed Philanthropy really aligned with me, with the core values that I have, and the driving force, which was the disability inclusion cause, and the experience that I have from my early career, and the core essence of helping others, which drives me in selecting any type of career that I want to pursue. And really, we need philanthropies aligned with all of that. And also the section of the global project, because I do love the international communication and different cultures and different backgrounds. And this is something that also I cherish, and that just perfectly aligned.
Oh.
It's this is my 4th year, and it's been a beautiful journey.
No, but it's beautifully put. And even throughout this interview, I'm looking into your eyes and I can sense the passion, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
And I can sense the passion, the work that you're doing. So a lot of our viewers are under the age of 35. Some of them are fresh graduates. A lot of them are even thinking of transitioning to new careers in their lives. So there's a reoccurring question I like to ask all our guests on discussions, because we do want it to be as beneficial as possible. If you could give one piece of advice to someone aspiring to follow in your footsteps and pursue a career in philanthropic work or philanthropy, what would that be?
Is it a one-word question? Or?
No, you can, as long as short as you prefer.
I would say passion and kindness, and really reflect on yourself, and really, when you bring the mirror in front of you and really assess and evaluate. I think every once in a while, like every 5 years, we should do that exercise with ourselves and just reflect and see, and did your priorities change? Did anything change throughout the 5 years? And always passion would be a driver for that's an advice, because you will get caught in the day-to-day job and the stresses of life, and it's not just the career, with your family maybe, and with your social life, right? So we can be caught in that cycle. But if there's passion, it will always push you throughout the day and throughout the month and throughout the year. So this is a key word for me.
Reem, thank you so much for your time. And genuinely, thank you for being so open to discussing your career in philanthropy, because I know it's rare that you have someone who has the time, who has the wisdom, that can sit down and give us advice, especially for our viewers. I've been receiving DMs asking about careers in philanthropy, so this is perfect. Literally. So thank you again for your time, and thank you for your advice. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lema, for this opportunity. Really, it's been a pleasure to meet you and have this time with you and talk about this career. And of course, I really wish you all the best in this podcast.
Likewise. The pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on Discussions. I look forward to welcoming you on the next episode.